Hey, friends. Today I am bringing back a topic that I like to touch on every year, but I'm going to expand on it a little bit this year. Okay, so at the time this episode is dropping, if you're in the States, we're getting ready to roll into summer months. And if you are someone that has kids at home and you're trying to figure out how can I navigate summer while also still, it's like that fine balance of you want some structure, predictability, routine, because there are things that you need to get done, right? But it's summer and you also want to enjoy that. So today we're going to be revisiting the concept, my kind of secret weapon of how I navigate summer. And I'm going to be giving you some extra tips that you haven't heard in years past. Hey everyone, welcome back to Work Life Harmony. All right, so it is gearing up for the summer season here in the States, which is magical, right? I love summer. I love not having to deal with that morning routine grind of getting kids out the door for school. I love having some of that flexibility. I love long, lazy afternoons, but I also still like to get some stuff done. And summer can always be a really tricky season to navigate when you are wanting to, if you will, make memories or have fun, navigate kids at home, loosen up the schedule a little, but still honor the fact that sometimes we need to have some plans and routines. So, I am going to be revisiting one of the favorite things that I love to share that helps me get through the summer. We've talked about it on previous years here on the podcast, but this year I'm going to be taking a deeper dive into some of the nuances that I haven't touched on before. And so today we're going to be kind of reviewing what I like to call A days and B days, and in some cases, C days as well. Now, before we dive into it, I want to help you understand something. What I'm going to be going through here today is not just limited to summertime. I have heard from so many women inside the top program that openly share that they use this same, kind of planning idea or tool all year long because it supports them in the rhythm of their life. Okay, so I'm going to be talking specifically about summer here today, but I want you to broaden how you think about this because you might lean on this at other times of the year or even all year as well. So here's the challenge that so many women face when we are, when we've still got young kids at home. And by young kids, I'm talking, all the way up through high school. Summer hits. We want to have that flexibility to go where the wind takes us, right? Have lazy summer days, all of that. But we still have to honor the fact that there are things that we need to get done, right? And this is especially true if you are in a, following the same kind of life I have where you're running your own business. I can't and I don't want to just get up and walk away from my business for 2.5 months. There are things that I still need to show up for, but I also want to work a lot less and I want to have more spontaneity and freedom in my schedule. Okay. And what I see time and time again that women struggle with is it's constant push pull every single day of, I want to go out and have fun. I don't want to say no. But now I'm finding that I'm working at the pool or I'm staying up really late or I'm back to getting up early. And those are all the things that I wanted to avoid during the summer months. Plus, day after day of too much, like let's go where the wind takes us, can oftentimes lead to about 4 weeks into summer, you're just desperately waiting for the school year to start back, right? To just get some of that structure in place, to get back some of that time where we're separating the togetherness, if you will. So I'm going to do just a quick refresher of what A days and B days are. And then I want to take a deeper dive into one particular thing I want to add into this year. So the idea of scheduling A days and B days, and then I also include C days, is to kind of lay a foundation for the days that we're going to go through summer where there is category one, which let's call my A days, which are going to be more family forward, if you will. I am putting less planned time for myself on these days. These are days where maybe we choose to go to the pool all day long, go like hit a couple museums where we truly want to experience the fun of having less structure and more spontaneity. So for me, A days in the summer are more summer fun focused, meaning I'm working a lot less. A B day is a day where it's going to be a little bit more work focused. There's going to be more structured time on my calendar that ensures to me, gives me that confidence that the things that need to happen will happen, and I can see when and how they're getting done instead of it just being this kind of stressful, I don't know when I'm going to do it. All right. And then I like to talk about sea days because oftentimes for families over summer, there is a true vacation, right? Where maybe you as a family are going to a beach for a week or you're taking a trip to the mountains. Okay. So sea days are truly vacation days, meaning it's not at home summer where we're, having some fun, but I'm getting some stuff done. Like I am off the grid. Okay, so understand that for me, a sea day is a true off the grid vacation, just as I would treat any vacation throughout the year. So I'm going to share with you, how I personally set up my A days and B days. And what makes the system work is the visibility and the communication with everybody else in the house. Okay, so and your A day and B day structure gets to look in a way that supports your stage of life, your kids' ages, etc. So, an A day for me, one that is more family forward. What it looks like for me now, because I do have a teenage daughter, which means she's not waking up at 5 and 6 in the morning as she was 10 years ago, right? My family forward days mean I actually get up a little earlier and I have a structured block of time in the morning, usually about two ish, at most 2.5 hours, where the things that need to get done for me for work are getting done. And then the rest of the day is open for summer fun, right? So, what this means is when I am communicating with my daughter, hey, this week, Monday and Wednesday are A days, or maybe there's 3 days, right? There's no rule to how many A days or B days you're going to have during the week. This is a signal for her that these are the days that I'm available for fun, for summertime, for driving, for going to the pool, for whatever we feel like doing. And these go on our family communication center labeled as A days. All right. And that lets me know on those days, whether it's 2 or 3 days in the week, I'm going to get up a little bit earlier and I'm going to have a focused work block in the morning. And then my A day also includes usually a 30-minute wrap up sometime later in the day. Now, yes, I'm being vague because it's going to depend on what we're doing in the day. If we're going to be coming home and having dinner here, I'm probably going to do those 30 minutes kind of right before or right after dinner, which gives me the opportunity to do a touch in for the business, answer any emails or pending questions that need to be addressed in that moment. So my A days are rarely more than 3 hours of work collectively, a chunk in the morning and then one towards the end of the day. Now, a B day, this is one that is more work focused. All right. And for me in my season of life, this is where I will proactively talk with my daughter to say, hey, do you want to have me available in the morning or do you want to have me available in the afternoon? And again, because we're navigating teenage years, usually it's going to be, I'd rather have it later in the afternoon because she does enjoy being able to sleep in during the summer. So, with a B day, one that is more work focused, I'm not getting up earlier. All right. Notice in A days, I said I get up earlier to get my work done earlier to have really a full day. On B days, I do let myself sleep in. I've always been wired for morning. I can't sleep in very late. For me, sleeping in is usually 7 a.m. That's when I would just naturally wake up. So I allow myself that sleep in time, but I am unavailable for family fun, all that kind of stuff until lunchtime. So that means I typically plan to work up until noon. So this is giving me a good 4-ish hours of work. So if I'm waking up at 7, I honor my morning routine, get in a little exercise, shower, etc. And I'm usually then at my desk working by 8. And I know that I can have a good solid 4-hour chunk of time on a B day. I might, depending upon the week, choose to push it all the way till 1. But again, these are labeled on our family communication center as B days. And this lets my daughter know now this is when she's planning for entertain herself time, projects she wants to be working on. And she proactively knows I'm working, I'm unavailable until the lunchtime. And then, we can kind of plan a little afternoon activity time together. Similar to my A days, on my B days, I will proactively plan that touch in, but I'm more structured with it. So our B days are ones where we're typically eating dinner at home, and I know I will have a 30-minute window either before or after dinner, again, to do kind of that late day touch up. C days we talked about for vacation. So, what this allows for is each week I'm proactively determining how many A days, how many B days, and I'm looking at the weather forecast for the upcoming week to help make some of those decisions, right? If it's going to be a rainy, yucky day, that might be a great B day where I'm going to be more work focused, as opposed to if the weather's going to be beautiful, then I know that's going to be where I'm going to try and plan for my A days. What this also means is I am blocking and protecting my calendar proactively so people can't be booking appointments with me on A days. All right. My B day calendar is one where I'm actually having meetings, I'm scheduling calls, etc. And the beauty is you get to determine how many A days and how many B days you want. But on a Sunday, I'm sitting down and reviewing with my family. Here's the A days, here's the B days, right? And expectations are set. And then I have the confidence knowing that I will have the time that I need to work on the things that need to get done. Now, I want to take this idea of how I really lean into A days and B days as a business owner. So, if any of you out there are running your own businesses, here's an extra little bonus layer I want you to think about. I work way less in the summer than I do during the year, which means I am doing less tasks, right? So, one of the things that I teach inside the top program is this concept of what are recurring things versus one off project work, right? And as a business owner, there are things that you likely need to do every day or every week to keep your business running. So, for example, every day, Monday through Friday, I do respond to questions from women going through the top program. I have time on my calendar for that, right? So I know that's something in the summer. I can't step away from that. I need to continue to do that. That's a commitment we have for our students. Now, I also keep the podcast running and we have a YouTube channel that we keep running, etc. But what this allows me to do is those recurring tasks, the things that I know I want to have time for every single week. When summer approaches, I revisit that and determine what is still a have to during the summer months versus what can I maybe step back from. So, for example, we typically produce multiple videos every week on our YouTube channel. But in the summer months, I might choose to remove one of those, right? To lighten my load during the summer months. You get to choose what that is for you. But I want you to really think about what are still my have tos versus what do I choose to lighten up on during the summer. And it's important to understand what those have tos are because ultimately, those are the things that take priority time, especially on your A days, right? And then it's kind of dictating where your time goes on B days. So I know whether it's an A day or a B day, I'm going to need 2 30-minute blocks of time to make sure that I'm getting any questions answered that students have. That is my commitment to the women inside of the top program, right? So that's going to take a priority into how I'm planning out to spend my time on an A day and a B day. The same is true with some of those weekly recurring tasks. I know that, we produce a podcast here. Now, granted, I can plan ahead and record podcasts ahead of time, which is really helpful, but I need to make sure that, again, my time on A days and B days are being prioritized against the things that I've determined as a true have to keep the business running. And what this means is during the summer months, there's less project work. So, as a business, when we are doing our annual planning, I'm proactively ahead of time knowing, hey, heavy project work, I am not going to plan for this in June, July, and the first part of August. And so the inputs for your time decrease, right? The amount of things competing for your time. And then the true have tos are what take priority when I am structuring my A days and my B days. All right. So I just kind of wanted to share that's another kind of layer that I think about when I'm doing this work. Now, if this is the first time you've heard about A days and B days, and this episode is landing here in May, I want to invite you to proactively look at your June, July, and August, and you can start determining and thinking for yourself, how many A days do I need? How many B days do I need? If you're not currently working outside the home and your summer is full-time caregiving mode, right? You still deserve to have A days and B days, meaning days where you might be more available to the kids versus B days where this is when you're getting the stuff done that you would rather do kid-free, right? Whether it's running errands, time for yourself, home projects that you're working on, right? You can layer in A day and B day regardless of what your work looks like. Now, there's one other thing that I really want to mention that I believe makes a big, big difference for us here during the summer months. And this is that I still treat weekends and weekdays very differently. It is so easy during the summer to just let the days blur together, right? A Saturday feels like no different from a Wednesday if you are home full time with your kids. And one of the things that I love to lean on is the fact that we honor weekends and weekdays differently, especially because my husband does not have that flexibility with his schedule, right? He's still working full time Monday through Friday, and weekends are when we are all off. So this means that A day, B day concept that I was just sharing, I only apply that Monday through Friday, right? These are my quote working days where I'm going to be doing work around the house. I'm going to be doing work for business and I'm navigating summertime as a mom. So Monday through Friday get labeled as A days and B days. And then weekends really are weekends. This is lazy. This is when we try and put less on our calendar. This is when we focus on how are we as a family all wanting to spend time together because it's when my husband is not working, right? And so when I am, potentially setting an alarm for myself, especially on my more work focused, where I need to get up earlier, I'm not doing that on the weekends. And you as a parent, you as an adult deserve to still have weekend time. And during the summer, I believe we really, really, really need to respect that, right? Because otherwise, it will just feel like every single day, all 7 days can start to feel like the same during the summer. And I think it's really important for women to have, okay, maybe more structure Monday through Friday, and then give yourself the gift of less structure on the weekend. Plus, that helps keep that rhythm going as you start to get ready towards the end of summer of launching back into school. That's just a tip that I would really encourage you to try and preserve if you can, is have the weekends feel different than during the week, right? So my daughter knows Monday through Friday, yes, I'm still need time for myself. I'm still running a business. And so we talk through at the start of every week, what are A days, what are B days? And then weekends get to continue to be glorious weekends. Now, if you are a newer listener here on the podcast and you heard me mentioning here today talking about supporting students through in our inside of our top program, if you're interested in learning more about the top program, top stands for time management, organization, and productivity. It is the #1 time management system for women, and you can learn all about it by going to www.thetopprogram.com. And friends, I'll see you back here next week on another episode of the Work Life Harmony podcast.